All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Vex. This is stream 567. Yeah, 567. Today, we're going to be doing some world building in WorldAnvil. We're doing a little bit more of our main campaign. I want to flesh out a couple different places that we're headed to in the main campaign, and maybe our bad guy too, our big baddie. And that's it. I think maybe at some point if I get sick of it, which I don't really get sick of world building, so maybe later on I'll switch to a game that we can play some multiplayer or whatnot. Who knows? We'll see. But strap in and buckle up. Get ready for the ride of your life. Wrong button. I didn't want to play any music in the background, and I didn't want to do 100% ASMR. So this is our compromise. We've got some ASMR sounds going on in the background. All right. Got to get my world building stuff up. I'm having a lot of fun with this. There's a couple places like we've got the Prairie Woods, and I'll just show it. I don't know what I'm waiting for. There we go. So we've got, hey, what's up, Frame? How you been, man? The Prairie Woods and Earsteer, this kind of like main elven foresty city of the northeast here. So maybe at the end of the fucking day, instead of playing a game, we'll take a stab at redoing the map a little bit, because there's definitely some things that need to change. And I keep saying that I'm gonna redo the map, but I never do it. Because there's definitely a lot that can help us craft certain stories and whatnot based on the geography, and if it's not the correctness that I want it to be, then it's just not gonna help. It's not gonna work out. It's been a rough day for you. Glad you're here. I'm glad you're here too, man. Sorry your day was rough, but you can sit back, relax, help me escape into this fantasy realm. I'm doing great. Today was a long day. It was a nuts day, dude. Shameless plug for my Instagram that I barely ever use. I posted a video of the hail that happened today. The hail was like, I don't have anything to like equate it to, but it was like maybe as big as a quarter. It was nuts. It was like everywhere. It looked like rock salt on the streets. It was just like flowing in the flooded streets. It was nuts, dude. And it was so fucking loud too. Apparently a tornado touched down somewhere near me too. Like fuck that. And at some point, I thought there was I thought a fucking lightning bolt hit something near us. Because it felt like it did. At some point during the storm, there was this, maybe it was a little bit after the storm. It was definitely after the hail and everything. But it was this big fucking boom. That was just like the loudest thunder I've ever fucking heard. And like shook the building. Shook my work building. Like shit. I like ran outside to see if there was anything on fire. It was a spooky day. We're eating some phase berry today. Apparently there's a new flavor out. Bahama Mama. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay. So, in this campaign, our adventurers started off in Steve. That's their main city. And they were attacked and helped and defeated the cultists that came to attack them with the aid of a small army of various creatures from the Iristir town or city. So they're on their way there. They met up with these people. What the fuck is going on? Is this on right? I don't want to be shaking this if it's not fucking on right. Fuck. I guess. So they met up with these saviors, and they had questions, and they were like, "Well, you got to come back and talk to our queen. We don't have those answers. So you got to come back and talk to our queen." So that's what we're doing. We're headed back to Iristir. They're gonna follow the river down. Maybe we can do something with this little lock. This little lakey poo. I don't even know why that's there, but we could do something with that. And then they're gonna go into the forest and eventually get to Iristir. So Iristir exists already, sorta. This small elven city is nestled deep within the prairie woods, built long after the logging and destruction of the once great forest. Most of this northeastern area was one big forest until humans kind of moved in. Is all your D&D digital? No, I actually played D&D physical, but like on a tabletop. But I have everything written down online and drawn up online just because it's easier to keep track of. I don't like having like a million notebooks. So yeah, because of the humans that came up from Arland and just like spread, and because, you know, over time forests thin as people log it and whatnot. Towns grew up. Each of these little red dots is theoretically a town. Maybe like a small village too. It has now been shrunk to this little prairie wood. This city is carefully woven into the trees and flora. The elven queen Nadir has maintained the protection of the forest and all of its inhabitants for centuries. While not the largest of cities, it is certainly a sight to behold. Ancient, bold trees seem to touch the sky. Its buildings curl and wrap around and through. That sentence doesn't sound good. Its buildings curl, and I'm not a linguist. You know? I just want to make cool shit. Its buildings curl and wrap around and through the ground floor. That needs to change. I don't know what to change that to. Nadir's Keep welcomes you through the gates of Iristir, its walls shining in the sun's rays. The elves of Iristir are known for their generosity and frequently aid adventurers who seek it. I'll probably add something to this. there also live in this forest, and perhaps the city too, Furbog and Bearfolk. Furbolg. There are tribes of these beings here. Alternate name, the city by the river. That is literally what Erasteer means. Era is the river's name. And steer is like city. So like city, river city. Population, I think I want to make this like way bigger than 2,000. Let's go to Donjon. I think maybe something in like the 10,000 range would work well. Let's see, town generator. Nope, not town generator. The fuck? How did I get to demographics calculator? Let's say 10,000. No, we're in like a small area. I'd say it's not too small. This is like a pretty big area. Let me get my my D&D book's not here. Description of town by population. Definition of town. Less than 100,000. Settlement hierarchy. Here we go. Here we go. A town is, at least in our world, 1,000 to 20,000 people. Let's say, I mean, the town that we live in now probably has like 1,000 people in it. I want Erasteer to be a little bit more populous than that, but not quite like 10,000. Let's say 6,500. That's a nice number. Dinonym, I don't really know what I want to call the people who live here. I used Irians as a a placeholder. I don't think that's good. We can keep going. I don't think I want this to be this can't be a pure. Hey, what's up, Lizard? This can't be a pure elven city. It's just not. Other people live in the. I mean, it could be a pure elven city, but other people live in the forest. So, and it's a traveled city. Like it is on a river. You know, there's even a road that kind of bisects the woods. That's another thing I want to do when I remake the map. I want to make some roads, because this one has no roads. It has implied roads. I've put some of these red dots as like villages and towns that like are the implied road. So we'll come back to this. Let's see, government. The Queen Nadir. This is something. This is stuff I wrote a couple weeks ago when I was first drafting it up. Queen Nadir is the only lawmaker in judicial hand. It works. It's so cute. Let me see the blown up picture. Oh, I can't. What? What the fuck? Oh, there we go. Oh, it doesn't show me the blown up version? That's weird. It's so fucking cute. You like can't really see your eyes because it's black, but yeah. You can still tell it's a puppo. Okay. I do want a small code of law for this place, as Queen Nadir is the only lawmaker in judicial hand. It's kind of like her say is final, you know? Too many E's. Too many vowels. We do not harm any living being that lives in the forest. We do not harm one another. I thought I had... Okay, I do have more descriptions down here. Okay. So it'll make a little bit more sense why I have the things the way they do. The town is built on the fork of the River Ira. There are several roads that lead in and out of the forest that run directly through Iristir as travel routes. Okay. The Queen's Guard is made up of 11 primary guards that are charged with the protection of the city's denizens. Each guard has its own force of 25 to 50 elven warriors ready to fight. Okay, so it doesn't need to be elven anymore. When I started this, it was going to be a pure elven thing. Iristir receives a small yearly payment from the nearby human city of Arland as a means of paying for repairs and safekeeping of the prairie woods. Iristir is a very traveled city, and as such has many different types of shops and businesses. It has no imports or exports, and survives mainly on the aid of Arland. So this, I might have it somewhere else, but like this spread of the forest, this prairie wood, is like almost like a sanctuary. The local capital, which is this capital city, Arland, has realized that maybe centuries of logging and destruction and fighting has led to the actual destruction of the forest that was once spanning this whole place, and now it's shrunk down into this prairie wood. So in order to keep it and not have it, dissipate, it's now under like countrywide law, like don't log, don't burn down the forest, nothing like that. It's like heavy crime. Industry and trade. Iristir receives a small yearly payment from the nearby human capital. Oh, I already read that. Guilds and factions. The protectors of Ira. The merchants of Ira. I think these need to change. I want to touch back on the guilds after we do the guilds in Amberfall, after we finish those, because I think some of those guilds will have, guilds in most major cities. All buildings of Iristir are built with the fauna and flora of the prairie woods in mind. As such, fallen trees are the only source of wood for the city's buildings. Stone from the nearby granite landing was used during the initial construction of Nadir's Keep. but newer buildings are built only from wood. Houses and businesses are distinguished by the finish of their outer walls. Stores have a darkened brown finish, and houses have a bright white finish. The tops of all buildings are worked into the canopy of the forest. As such, roofs aren't constructed. Each building is uniquely built according to the trees and flora in the space it is being built. Most shops and houses have trees going directly in the center of the building. Others are built alongside, or in the case of Nadir's Keep, built spiraling around them. Okay. The city has an endless supply of fresh water via the River Era. The elves of the city have grown tall and healthy from its purity. Isn't that nice? The fallen trees are cleansed of all evil spirits before being. I think that sentence can change. Something a little bit more ritualistic. Before being recycled into buildings for Eristir. Fresh water from the River Era. Fresh water from the River Era. What's that? Oh. Vegetables grown in small farms and fruits that fall from their trees are the natural resources of Eristir. Ruler, Queen Nadir. Parent location, the Prairie Woods. Okay. I know we just started, but give me like 2 or 3 minutes. When we come back, I'm going to try and flesh this out as much as I can. But like I said, I don't want to go into too much detail with the guilds. But we can go into a little bit of like the law enforcement and some of the denizens and demographics as well, using bear folk and furbogs. So BRB, appreciate you. Where did it go? Oh no. Gone forever. Okay. So, my sock is coming off. You're a steer. Gotta work it out. Let's see, I think... Short description of the history of the settlement. Don't forget to add all the important events at the settlement's timeline by creating a timeline and attaching it to the article. I've not made a timeline for this world. I probably should. Okay. Denonyms. I think that this city like doesn't have any. Maybe they can just be like, I am a bearfolk of Eurystere. I'm not sure. You must have missed a lot of what we were talking about. Eurystere. Era is the Era is the river's name, and steer is just word for city or whatever. The idea is that it's built into the forest, and it's a sanctuary now because logging in this forest is now banned and punishable. By some means, I don't know exactly how devastatingly punishable it is, but it's bad. Don't do it. As such, it's kind of like a natural what's it called? National park. Top streamers. Vote. 5th place in D&D. First, only one streaming. So it's it's like a natural national park. And this national park, you're just not allowed to cut down trees. But most of the buildings in Eurystere are made from the wood of the forest. The way they do, or the way they go about it, is trees every now and then. 43 already? Yeah. You're still playing a killer game? What killer were you playing? I kind of want to play some more killer game tonight. Dude, it's so fun. You like actually pip up. So the buildings are made from spirit. The buildings are made from trees that had already fallen, or like a recently fallen tree might have toppled over because of a storm or something. So the loggers, we can have some kind of logger guild. We'll go out and bring the tree to, maybe even before they bring it, maybe they bring with them some kind of priest to kind of bless the tree and help the spirit of the tree, move on, whatever their beliefs are. And then it's okay to be used for wood, for new buildings and whatnot, because it's a city. It's a city with a population of about 6.5k, 6.5 thousand. So it's gotta be expanding, to fit these people. And the buildings themselves are built with the trees and the brush and the animals in mind. So it's meant to be non-invasive. So like in the one example down below, I said that most shops, might have a tree growing inside it, or the what I call it, Queen Nadir's Keep. is built spiraling around one of the biggest trees in the forest. So that's the kind of premise we've got. We've also got furbogs and bearfolk living among us, living among the elves. Demographics. I'd say, since this is on a river, and there are roads that flow in and out of Eurystheer, I would say that the demographics are pretty mixed. I don't know how to say this, because I don't know how to say it in words that are other than a percentage. The bulk of the population of Eurystheer. Population. I need to sit up. Is Elven. But there exist. But that's not the right there. But there are many bearfolk tribes. What? I need to know more about furbolgs. I don't know too much about them. Furbogs are a hulking ancient race of bearmen. Oh, this is from WoW. D&D. Oh, it's FIR. FUR is the World of Warcraft one. Furbogs are Fey-oriented half-giants. Their tribe cloister in remote forest strongholds, prefer to spend their days in quiet harmony with the woods. When provoked, furbogs demonstrate formidable skills with weapons and druidic magic. I've got bearfolk here. Although it has the head of a shaggy bear, this humanoid creature wears armor and carries a battle axe in one massive clawed hand, and a warhammer in the other. It's a solid slab of muscle that towers impossibly over most humans. Bearfolk are almost universally the subjects of the Bear King, one of the great Fey lords. The Bearfolk protect the cities of their northern kingdoms and roam the wooded roads of the wilderness. The greatest number of bearfolk are concentrated around the court of the Bear King himself, with ancient bear jarls governing their unruly kin. Only a handful of renegades, exiles, and other rogue bearfolk have lived permanently outside of the society. So maybe we want to... Is the Bear King like a thing? Can we make that a thing? I know there exist Fey Lords in D&D. Is there a question today? Yeah. What are you looking forward to most in the next couple months? Like, I'm definitely looking forward to Death Stranding. Let's see if we can find Fey Lords, because maybe we can have Queen Nadir be sort of like she could be the queen of like the elves, and the Bear King can be like the king of the forest. She's the queen of the forest, but he's more of an unseen force. I don't know, I'm just thinking. F comes before G. Fayward tree. River King. Queen of Witches. Lord of the Hunt. Bear King, okay. Attacks, actions, regional effects. No, like, actual fucking lore? Oh, here we go. Dressed in hunting leathers with a thick bearskin coat around his shoulders, the bearded king sits upon a throne carved from a whole tree trunk. A crown of holly leaves wreathes his head, and a blackened maul rests near his hand. An ornate clay pot filled with honey hangs at his hip at all times. Mesikamen, the Bear King, called Old Honeypaws, rules the northern kingdom of Bjornheim. The kingdom of the bear is home to a great population of its namesake. The forests are thick with bears, and werebears are common among its people. The country's chief product and export, thanks to the Bear King's insatiable appetite for sweets, is honey. The Bear King's hive keepers harvest rich blossom sweet honey from the hives of giant bees they tend. The land's brewers use the honey to create the finest meads and the most potent brews. Okay. The Bear King and his court of jarls, witches, and oracles spend most of their time hunting in the hills, feasting, brawling, and drinking mead. Only Honeypaws maintaining his rulership over his court by besting all rivals in the yearly series of challenges. Old Honey. Yeah, I read that sentence very incorrectly. The challenges are open to anyone, but the Bear King has defeated all comers since he rose to the throne. Interesting. So I think we can have the Bear King play some part in the Prairie Woods with his bear folk. He needs to, basically. He just like actually has to. So maybe we'll make a new article of a character. Oh wait, this isn't... Yeah. The Bear King. We'll come back to that. We can edit that later. That's enough D&D for today. Oh, DBD. I heard it as D&D. I was like, okay, I guess. Bye. What rank are you? Okay, so we've got the Bear King. A big decision needs to be made. Does the Bear King have his own area in the forest? Looking forward to more tattoos. Oh my god. Just love being called a bitch for running NOED while they have BT, Metal a Man, and they let a rank 12 host them because they're rank 3. Oh my god. At that point, you just like rattle through the list like, okay, NOED's a bitch move, but you've got BT, you've got self-care, you've got Metal a Man, you've got Decisive Strike, you've got Dead Hard, you've got Adrenaline, like... Just like rattle them all off. Like, you've got good perks, you use them. I've got good perks too, and I use them. Like, I'm not gonna not use a good perk just because it's like a stigma. So, if there exists a sect or tribe of bearfolk in Iristir that are part of the main military, does the Bear King get his own city? Probably not. So we have to remember that the Prairie Woods are a sanctuary, a national forest. Kind of like Yellowstone is a national park that spans a very, very large range that is government sanctified. I don't know how to say it. Funded, and they have like a big force of people that roam the area, cleaning it and making sure there's no damage and no hooligans, you know. So what if Queen Nadir and the Bear King rule side by side, but Queen Nadir is ever present in Iristir, and the Bear King roams the forest and protects it, or at least tries to protect it from, you know, things that may go wrong, like invaders or I don't know, natural disasters, things like that. And maybe they're the kind of force that helps bring trees back, you know, because if you've got a city of almost 7,000 people, you've got to have buildings for them all to live in, and you've got to get that wood somewhere, and it's not going to all come from the direct immediate area. You know, you're going to get some trees from the outskirts of the forest that fall down that you got to bring in. So I think I like the idea of the roaming pack of bearfolk tribes led by the Bear King. And that gives the reason of there being bears interwoven into the Iristirian military. Okay. So is it just one tribe then? One tribe of bearfolk? Let's generate some names. Let's see if we can get a name of a tribe. Does John have any kind of tribe generator? Generator. Hope everyone's having a good name. A good name? I read the word name as I was talking. Hope everyone's having a good night. God. Fucking idiot. Tribe names. Tribal names. So I definitely don't want my Bear King to be the exact same Bear King as this Bear King, but it can be close in theme, you know. Maybe we can import the honey aspect. Maybe there's lots of bees. Maybe there's big bees. Like big bees. The bear that we met, the main dude that was talking to us, the bearfolk, was called Blackmane. Maybe we want to incorporate that somehow. I like the idea of the tribe of, or the something something clan. Maybe not clan for bearfolk. That might not make too much sense. I think I'm rank like 15 in killer. So bad. Smelly coyote children. Okay. That's a tribe name. The fuck? I like the idea of this, the Red Forest Tribe. That is a very emotion-evoking word or name. That may be a little bit of history in the first couple of games of Spirit. I got Adept and 3 quad iridescent. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. Some food to help you think. I'll be right back. Alright. So I think maybe... So maybe it can't be just logging that has been the detriment of the prairie woods that has shrunk it to this current size. Maybe there was some kind of event that helped accelerate it. I still don't have a timeline or what year it is in this world. Nothing like that, so I can't really do that type of deal. But I think that there could be some kind of event, maybe that drove the bear folk and the elves together to like fight with each other, or fight together rather than be separate entities. Because I think, you know, the bears definitely come from the prairie woods, and the original prairie woods, the greater wood, and so do the elves, sorta. I have a little bit of the elven history worked out in my brain, but it's not fleshed out at all. So maybe there was some kind of fire that was started by maybe a third party, and the trees, you know, as being trees, went up in flames and burned a massive portion. We can kind of see that this part of the map is a little bit darker. It's just how it came out on the map. I've used this in several other spots. Like down here is a little lighter. This is even lighter, like sand colored. This is green. In all the greenish areas I have trees. This is like a little swampy. So maybe in this blackened area, maybe this was devastated by a great fire. And maybe this was the original home of the bear folk. And they were some tribe. Maybe they had a name before. I don't know what their name would be before it. We could figure that out. But maybe this fire spread into elven lands, and they recruited the aid of the elves, and the elves recruited the aid of the bears to help drive back whatever the force was that started the fire and kept it going. Or maybe it was like an eternal fire. Maybe it was like part of their land was taken away, and they decided to take it back at some point. I definitely think that there needs to be some sort of third-party event that happened here. And then from that stems the alliance of the elves of Earsteer and the bears of wherever they're from, you know. maybe they had a certain territory because these bear folk are nomadic in nature, so they just have a territory that they move around in, and that was obscured and somewhat demolished by this third party. And same with the elves. Maybe their original territory, up here in the article we mentioned that some of the architecture was built using the granite that comes from Granite Landing. Clever name, right? Not so much. So maybe their domain stretched and it crossed a little bit with the bears, and then this third party came through and wrecked that part of the forest, and the bears allied with the elves and decided enough's enough, like, let's attack. So then they were dubbed the Red Forest Tribe. I'm not sure. As a symbol of, like, don't forget your past. This is why our alliance exists, because of you, because you defended against the Red Forest, which is the flames and everything like that. Maybe it also means, red for blood and things like that. I'm gonna just write that down so I don't forget it, and we'll keep going through tribe names. Okay. Twin Fire Warriors. Molten Stag Tribe. Oh my god. Also got some tribal names here. I think we can use these as alternate names for the Bear King. We gotta find an actual name for the Bear King at some point. The Large Bone Tribe. Oh my god. Crazy Paul. The Silent God Tribe? The fuck? That sounds creepy as fuck. Silent God. I think I want the bear folk to exist in their own, like, family tribes, if that makes sense. Like, I want them all to have family names, but all still adhere to the main Bear King tribe. Like that kind of hierarchy. Yellow Sand Children. The Big Claw Tribe. The fuck? This is so, like, some of these are real bad. Find a name yet? I've been... So, I went on this whole long thing. I think a Scandinavian name fits a bear best. Like the Bear King. How do we... Let me see if I can get Scandinavian names. Swedish name generator? Norwegian name generator? Viking name generator? So I've been really leaning towards this Red Forest tribe, as a tribe name that derives from the tribe's history rather than the person that they follow or their physical appearance. So my idea was there existed this greater forest that covered the whole area, and in this kind of brownish, darkish patch here, an event happened. A third party of some sort decided to destroy the forest. You mean like Sven Bjorn? Yeah, I can't name the Bear King Bjorn. I think it does. Could name the Bear King Bjork. Literally the army of me. So this event happened that drove basically the elves that were a separate entity and the bears that were a separate entity to work together and stop whatever happened, which is the reason for their current alliance and why the queen is married to the king and why they help patrol the forest and they keep it sacred and whatnot. It's called the Red Tribe, or the Red Forest Tribe, because they defended against the flames and the blood shed at this time. It's a little too on the nose, but it's the best thing I've come up with so far. Whoa! Halfred Bergensen. Eirmund Sigtryggsson. There's too many G's and S's. Skjold Hudson. I need a real fucking long name. You've heard of Torbjorn, but have you heard of his brother, Thorbjorn? It's a little, not creative. I also don't speak any of these languages, so I can't really pronounce the like ord, you know? And like the O with a slash through it? I don't even fucking know. I've never heard that before. Rune. Yo, what if your first name was Rune? Like Rune. That'd be so cool. Martin. Oh god. Spjale. Folkskog. What the? I've never seen. That's a hell of a name. That is the most Viking sounding fucking name. Yeah, it's a Swedish name. Makes sense. Melvin. What if his first name was Bear and his last name was King? In whatever language? Well, that's what fucking Lizzie was just trying to say. We could do, what are the Scandinavian? It's Norwegian. Bjorn.
Björn.
And then we got Swedish. Swedish.
Björn.
It's just an O with an umlaut. What else? Yo, I don't even know the fucking Scandinavian countries. I'm so bad at geography. Just like always forget things. Norway. I already did that. Fucking idiot. Oh my god. I accidentally hit Dutch instead of Danish because it's right next to each other. The translation of bear into Dutch is
beer.
Beer, which makes sense because it sounds similar, but like
Bear.
Rune is a very common here. That's such a cool fucking name, dude. I can't get over that. That's so, to me, that's so alien. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the best way possible. That's so interesting how half a world away, a name that would probably be ridiculed here. Like I would name a son Rune. Like that's fucking cool. But can you imagine like it's not. I feel like that would be a name that would be ridiculed. Which is stupid because no name should be. But how in other places it's a very, very common name. There's a fiction, but there's a character in Skyrim named Rune. I'd never heard that.
Bear.
Bear. That's what that AE that mixes together. So, this is getting a little bit too into it, but at least for right now. But the Bear King has to have been maybe a person at one point. Maybe he's a werebear. Maybe it's a furbog it's like a were furbog. Do we have a furbog name generator? Fursona names, no thanks. Sorry, but that's not my cup of tea. There's a bearfolk name generator. Boar and bear name generator. Oh my god. Oinker. There's more of those, like joke and maybe freak. Freak. That's so interesting. They're in the Thieves Guild, plus you never play Skyrim. Bloodmaw. Powder Keg. Princess Fiona. What? Who names these boar and bear names? James. The fuck? Magnum Pig. I'm fucking done with this. It's so bad. Excuse me. Let's see. Do we have we do have access to Furbog. And bugbear names, interesting. Names for Furbog. Fenpetor. What if we do I want to do some kind of like descriptor descriptor name into a different language. Like the Bear King is a furbog, so maybe he's tall or powerful. I don't know. It's also got to be pronounceable. All of the bear, the bugbear names have just like a million R's. Okay, well, I'm gonna say for now we're gonna go with. Are there other names? Name. I'll just write it here. For now, we'll go with maybe just Bjorn. Do we go with Norwegian or Swedish?
Björn. Björn.
If we go with Swedish or Norwegian, whatever, we have to stick with that throughout the whole of the bear tribe if we ever come across this type of thing again. And we also need a last name then. Could be one of the Furbog names. All of the names they give for the Viking names are something something son. It's just that they all end in S-O-N. Bear God in Elvish gives me a... Whoa. Gnarly Telemnar. Elvish. How'd you translate it to Elvish? Is it, like Tolkien Elvish? By Chris Wetherell. The elf name generator. Oh, I see. So it's just a language that they've created? Oh, they talk about the Quenya and Sindarin. So maybe they're actually Tolkien stuff. Got stuck with God, probably because of Boar God in MTG. Oh, there's no pronunciation. Nariel Luinwe. Oh, it can just like generate a million fucking names, maybe? No. I mean, we don't need a last name. I think Bjorn might just be a little too on the nose. I need something a little bit more. But we can always change it in the future, you know. This guy's name is fucking... where is it? Messicommon. Doesn't really sound like it. Just call him Tibbers. God, I smell burning. Cedarstrom. Bjorn Hog. What does that mean? Yo, give me the translator back. Bird or cherry tree? Bird, cherry tree. Bird cherry. What the fuck is a bird cherry?
Hey,
Hague.
bird cherry.
I've never... What is a fucking bird cherry? It's a type of tree. It is native in Northern Europe and Northern Asia. Explains why I've probably never seen this tree in my life. It's very pretty. So Bjorn Hague is Bear Bird Cherry Tree. I don't know. Maybe I'll come up with a different fucking name for him at some point. Whatever. But we've got the tribe. So we got the tribe of bird dudes. I mean, it's fucking bear dudes. There are many different bear folk tribes that descend from the Red Forest tribe. Maybe we don't need that much information in this section, but whatever. There are many bear folk. And furbolgs. I don't know much about furbolgs. They live to be about 500. They're Fey-oriented half-giants. Their tribes cloister in remote forests, strongholds. Okay, so they're also tribal. Tribal. Nomadic. Okay. Okay. there are many bearfolk and furbog. There is little to distinguish between high class and low class, as everyone is seen as equal. Demographics are all about the population of the settlement is distributed amongst different species, ethnicities, wealth classes, professions, etc. Okay, well, we can go through the breakdown again of a city with a population of 6,500. Doesn't look to be any dumb, outstanding numbers. I feel like a city this big wouldn't have 19 taverns, though. And this isn't a capital city, so I guess we don't need to go so much into detail about it. Like, this is definitely a city that looked up for bugs in Kenku. I got recommended. Got recommended to me. They look really. Yeah. Kenku are interesting. Kenku, like, you know, the bird people. Sometimes in the D&D campaigns, they're used as bad guys, which kind of sucks, but they're not all bad guys. Okay, well, maybe the demographics doesn't need to be fleshed out anymore. Demographics are how the population of the settlement is distributed amongst different species, ethnicities, wealth classes, professions. Do I need exact numbers? I don't want exact numbers. Yeah, I don't think it matters. Oh, my video might be over. It is. Should we pick a new ASMR video to listen to? So, we gotta work in the Bear King somewhere here. So, let's see. It has maintained protection of the forest and all its inhabitants for centuries. Alongside her husband. No. I need to figure out, like, the nature sounds. There are other nature sounds. You know, there's other videos. I like this video. I needed to make it apparent that, you know, it's not a traditional, like, the king has most of the power, the queen has some power, but not very much, you know. It's almost opposite, you know. The queen is doing most of the work, and the king is out, you know, being a glorified bodyguard, you know. For centuries alongside her hetero life partner. I'm not sure. Not sure what to call it. Trying to see something quick. What the hell? Okay. The Elven Queen, Nadir, has maintained the protection of the forest and all of its inhabitants for centuries. Her husband, the Bear King, No, I like the idea of, I don't know. I don't know words, man. Talking's and writing's hard. Her husband, the Bear King. What? Roams the forest. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I feel like this sentence could be a little bit more. I don't know, there's a little bit more, but I guess I'll go with it for now. Sure. Okay. Well, I mentioned the Bear King, so that's all we need to mention right now. Location type city, population, yeah, whatever. Errands, demonym. Maybe that is just like right. Urians. I don't want Nigerians. Errands. I don't know. I forget what I had before. Government. Still like this. Two laws govern all of Eurostir. We do not harm any living being that lives in the forest. I don't know if I want to keep that. Because they need to be protecting against outside forces. And, if they live in the forest and they're being evil, that's not good. It breaks the law. What have the entrepreneurial spirits of the settlement built? Examples include water mills, windmills, sewers, courtyards, blast furnaces, roads, bridges, shipyards, etc. The town is built on the fork of River Yura. There are several roads that lead in and out of the forest that run directly through Eurostir as travel routes. These roads have been... I don't know if I need to get so flourishy with words. I need to make it apparent that these roads are not paved roads. These roads have been... what's a good word? They've not been paved. I say, like, when a bunch of people walk on the grass in a certain way, in a certain direction, maybe it's a shortcut or whatever, eventually a path is made. What's that called? Is it called anything? Iraish. I kind of like that. Add to dictionary because it's a made-up word. These roads have been... I use the word carved a lot. I need to not. These roads have been stamped into the ground by centuries of travelers taking the path of least resistance throughout the forest. through the forest. Yo, can this sense? There are several roads that lead in and out of the forest that run directly through. This tells me to put runs. It doesn't. That doesn't sound right. Even I know English better than that. It just doesn't sound right. These roads have been stamped into the ground by centuries of travelers taking the path of least resistance through the forest. Okay. I don't feel the need to mention courtyards or sewer systems. I think that's unnecessary for a city that isn't a capital city. So I guess that's it for infrastructure. Assets, equipment, stores, valuables. Don't really care about that. The Queen's Guard is made up of 11 primary guards that are charged with the protection of the city's denizens. Each guard has its own force. I think they suggest runs because it looks like the forest is the subject. Oh, I see. Each guard has its own force of 25 to 50 warriors. So if each one had 50 guards, that's like a tenth of the population is warriors. So maybe if it's like 15 to 35. The Bear King, while almost always found roaming the wood with his Do we have a name for the ones that... Yo, I've got two. I don't know if this is a scratch or bite marks, but like they are very far away from each other and they look almost as if one creature got me. And if they are like that far apart, that's a big ass fucking creature. They're like an inch apart. We already have the word Queen's Guard. What do we call the people that run around with the Bear King? With his tribes of bear folk. Always found roaming the wood. Let's just say woods. With his tribes of bear folk. Serves... Whoa. As a front line. Battalion? Let's see if I know the actual definition of that word. A large body of troops ready for battle, especially an infantry unit forming part of a brigade, typically commanded by a lieutenant colonel. Okay. Yeah. Serves as a frontline battalion. That's not how you spell it. against any invaders or I don't even know if this sentence like makes sense here in the defenses portion. The defenses of the settlement are the arrays and layers of infrastructure that make sure the inhabitants and wealth of the settlement is safe. Palisades, walls, moats, towers, raised bridges. And the specifications could be described here. Maybe we can see, this is like a little bit too flourishy. The Bear King roams the woods with his tribes of bear folk. Serving as a frontline battalion against any invaders or or any harm that would become. Not sure how to say this. This is so bad. I'm bad at words, dude. Why can't my thoughts just be transcribed perfectly? Why are we not at this state of technology yet? Trespassers? Invaders or trespassers? I feel like that's almost the same. I'm trying not to say like trespasser or invaders or wrongdoers or people that mean the wood harm. You know, I need a different. It could just be against any invaders. I could just be okay on its own. Invaders intending to harm the wood. Harm the forest. Undesired or uninvited. Invaders or uninvited or maybe he's also like the welcoming party, serving as a frontline battalion against any invaders, or a welcoming party for any new travelers. Because I think, in general, the people of this forest are good-natured and aren't expecting anything bad to happen. And maybe kind of go on face value. Like if they look at you and see that you are an undesirable, they'll just like shut you out. Words is hard. I fucking agree, dude. That's why I talk the way I do, because fuck hard words. Serving as a frontline battalion against any invaders or undesirables. He also acts as a welcoming party for any and all travelers entering the prairie wood. Didn't I spell it weird? P-R-A-E-R-Y. P-R-A-E-R-Y. I kind of like that idea. Like, he's got some kind of, he's a fey being. He's inherently a magical being. Maybe he's got some sort of defenses where, like, or maybe some kind of ritual where he'll mark you with something if this is your first time in. And so if you don't have this mark and you enter the woods, he knows. Maybe it's part of the magical honey that he always keeps with him. His tribes of bear folk and furbog. I think I need him to have the furbogs with him as well. Sounds pretty cool. I agree. I like this Bear King. He's like my new favorite character. I think it's pretty cool. Like this Fey god. Like a Fey demigod that actually is physical. And apart from my main baddie, which, by the way, let me check Etsy real quick. I did not get a message. This is what I want to get as the helmet, or as the mask. For my main bad guy. Yeah, no answer yet. I gotta buy that soon. There's only one left. Okay, Let's see. There exists a magical, unseen barrier around the entirety of the prayer. Oh, I spelled it wrong up here. What am I doing? Prairie Woods territory. I don't know if territory is the right word for that, but we'll find out. I need the synonym. Thesaurus.com. District, enclave, area, land. The entirety of the Prairie Woods' land. I like that a little bit more than territory. Territory seems... Dominion? I like Dominion too. Turf. Territory... Just take land or area. That suits it better. That seems good. Territory implies an edge, which there kind of is, but... barrier around the entirety of the Prairie Woods' land. The Bear King can sense when this barrier is broken Brocken by newcomers, and can travel quickly to travel quickly to I don't need to explain the Lion King. I'll put honey on your forehead in this. Eurostir has no outer walls. Do we want outer walls, or do we not want outer walls? Probably not. But if we think that this was created a long time ago, before the kind of peace treaty of don't fuck up the forest anymore was made, they brought in stone and things to make buildings. You can use traps instead of walls. Interesting. Like nets and like webbing, that kind of deal. Has no outer walls, but instead has a series of ornate traps, both physical and magical. There is, however, remnants of a wall so in one of these things I mentioned that there's a gate. Nadir's Keep welcomes you through the gates of Eurostir. That just like sounded like a good sentence. It doesn't need to be a gate, but I think like having like a grand, maybe even wooden gate, and the first thing you see is a big fucking tree with like this castle or keep spiraling around the tree that just like disappears into the canopy. I think that visual seems great and grand. Some kind of rope that notifies the people inside the city when someone walks. Maybe like a bell or something, like a thin wire with tin cans strapped to it. You know. There is, however, remnants of a wall. Maybe the gate is just... Maybe there is no gate. I don't know, it seems like it's giving me too much trouble. Trained birds. The fucking crows. I kind of like that. Physical and magical. Maybe the magical traps are like birds that are like or physical traps are the birds that are trained and they notify people. And you also got to think that this is a trading town, so there's a certain amount of allowance for people. But like if they go to an area that they're not supposed to, they don't come in through a road, maybe. There is, however, remnants of a wall. I like the seating idea of remnants of a wall, because that sentence, half a sentence in itself, creates a potential history. And I'm all about potential histories that may or may not happen. Remnants of a wall. Surrounding the innermost portions of the city. The only remaining portion of this I use remnants and remaining. The only Oh, it's a trading town. I was gonna say the heads of people who betrayed the Bear King. Maybe that's what happens if you kill something inside the forest. You get beheaded. It's a little grim, but it gives a little bit of griminess to this. You know, the prairie wood. We can read off the thing for prairie wood real quick. This bright forest is home to the elven town of Earsteer, once a great wood covering the whole northeast. Heavy logging by the humans and elves have left the forest a fraction of its former self. Logging has since been forbidden inside the territory of Earsteer, as the wood is now considered a sanctuary for many endangered wildlife that thrived in the past. Oh, I had more. Oh, growing on rolling hills, the prairie woods are bright and tall, most trees reaching upwards of 30 to 40 feet. Due to the creatures and magic living in the now small wood, for a majority of the year, the trees are in full bloom. Vivid and glowing green leaves adorn the various trees. Oaks, birch, and poplar trees are among the most populous trees. Poplar and populous. Seems bad. For the remainder of the year, the trees in the wood are in their autumnal colors. Deep browns, bright oranges, and reds. One day every year, all the trees in the forest shed their autumnal... I used that twice. I need to redo this. And sit barren and exposed. The next day, buds begin to form and bloom, bringing back the bright spring colors. So we've got this like bright picture and like this nice like elven tech, elven architecture. And then we've got the heads of the traitors. I kind of like that. The only... What's a different word for remnant? I have a fucking thesaurus right here. The only fragment. The only vestige. That's a good word. Ooh, that's a good word. A mark, trace, or visible evidence of something that is no longer present or in existence. Vestige. The only vestige of this wall is I think I want it to be like wrought iron. I think I want it to be like this. Does wrought iron have like mythological properties? I know silver does, obviously. I mean, we could just have like different metals. Could just be some magical metal. I thought there was a metal generator. No, just sneezed and it was precious. What cute. Oh, this is just like actually made up words. Houston. I like you. W-E or Y-E-W. A coniferous tree which has red berry-like fruits. Naming a metal. Did you name the bear? No, I didn't find an actual name for him. I just left it as Bjorn. Could just be Bjorn, but so we've got you. Houston. Is Houston a word? No. Yum. A lot of the different metals on the periodic table end in ium. Okay. I'm trying to figure out a. This is stupid, and I'm spending way too much time on this, but a thing that this gate would be made of that they would keep it like this natural magical metal. You something. I like you. Like the tree. You. But I don't know how to change that into a like a metal name. Houston? Sounds like Houston. Ural? Let's write that out. Ural? Kind of like that. Uium. I don't like Uium. Because this can bring in a lot more depth to the world. Just gotta keep going down the rabbit hole. I'm gonna add a little bit more water to this. Well, let's keep it as Ural right now. I'll can make a metaphysical material. Kind of like a mithril. What if we use a Y to make it more magical? Can only come up with stupid stuff. I know it's like it's such a bizarre word. Like when you try to make words, W isn't followed by very much at the end of a word, so it's hard to add a suffix to it. At least that I'm finding, and a lot of it just doesn't. Like the way you say the word "you," it's kind of like the end of your breath, so it's hard to say anything else. Metal. Natural. Okay. We'll come back to that. Even more articles, man. What the fuck? I'll keep it for now. Oh, no. Can I take this word out of my dictionary? Ural. Laurel. Yanny. Euidian. You idiot. The Ural Gate. Outside of the Nadir Keep. Bjorn was actually the bear? Yeah. Yeah. It's Swedish. So that adds a little bit of depth there. I think that's it for defenses. I want to save changes before we fucking lose anything. Oh, I see. Defenses, we got industry and trade. Eristir receives a small yearly payment from the nearby human capital city of Arlond. As a means of paying for repairs and safekeeping of the prairie woods, Eristir is a very traveled city, and as such has many different types of shops and businesses. There's no imports or exports, and survives mainly on the aid. I think I want to change that. I want to have it have an export of honey. I really like that idea. Is there an export generator? No. the main export of Eurostir is honey. I want to see how this page worded it, because this is a lot more eloquent. The country's chief product and export, thanks to the Bear King's insatiable appetite for sweets, is honey. Okay. It's just, this doesn't need to be very flowy. I don't know how much to add here. Due to the large colonies of bees, is that what you call a thing of bees? Colony of bees? Living colonies, okay. Due to the large colony of bees, Eurostir is able to provide a majority of the... I think I want a name for this coast. Like, in... You know, we've got the East Coast here, we've got the West Coast. It's kind of like literal, but Dungeons and Dragons has the Sword Coast. I don't know about any other coasts in anything, but I think this needs to be called something. I definitely, at some point, maybe we'll break this into like different countries, almost not like actual countries, but maybe large territories like provinces. Okay. It's able to provide a majority of the countryside's honey needs. Ooh, that is too watered down. Ugh, that is gross. It's all warm. Large colonies of bees. Eurostir is able to provide a majority of the countryside's honey needs. I think that's it for that sentence. I guess that's it for imports. Or exports, no imports. There is no need for the city to import, as there are several heavily trafficked. Is that how you spell trafficked? There we go. Several trafficked roads. That bring traders in Sure. Doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be too much. What do the inhabitants do for a living? What are the most important imports, exports, and manufacturing? I don't need two of the same sentence. Think this tax is made more difficult by the fact that you can't read? Fuck off. Yes. Safekeeping. The trade ward of the city. Oh, the city's trade ward. Ward grows every year as traders settle tribute to the local economy. Sure, whatever. The point of 90% of these articles is to get as much information as I can out of my head so I have more space for more information. I can, at some point in the future, come back and turn these into more elegant articles. But this is just, I need to get as much information down so I can remind myself of it later when I read it. Guilds we're not going to touch. History. That's a big project. Architecture. I think architecture is fine. All buildings are built with the fauna and flora of the prairie woods in mind. As such, fallen trees are the only source of wood for the city's buildings. Stones from the nearby granite landing was used in the initial construction of Nadir's Keep, but newer buildings are only built from wood. Houses and businesses are distinguished by the finish of their outer walls. Stores have darkened brown finish, while houses have a bright white finish. The tops of all buildings are worked into the canopy of the forest. As such. I say that a lot. Roofs aren't constructed. Each building is uniquely built according to the trees and flora in the space that it is being built. I can change this paragraph at some point. The main idea is there. Most shops and houses have trees growing directly in the center of the building. Others are built alongside, or in the case of Nadir's Keep, spiraling around them. Which is the style of architecture used in the settlement? Which is the stone used for the walls of the buildings? How to visually adorn the buildings? Okay. I don't know if I need to change any of this. Probably not. Describe the location's geographic features. Is this terrain a plain, a mountain, or rolling hills? Does it have access to fresh water via a river or lake? Is it at the edge of a sea or ocean? The city has an endless supply of fresh water via the river Yura. The elves of the city, the denizens. No. I don't like that sentence, so. is built directly into the forest itself. Atop rolling hills, trees can reach heights of what did I say, 30 to 40? With some larger, sure. Top rolling hills. I said the prairie woods were rolling hills, so I want to incorporate that. I don't want it to be completely flat. Maybe the city itself is flat and the hills are kind of around. Let's say inside a shallow. Is there? I want to know synonyms for valley. Canyon, gorge, lowland, plain, bottom channel. Alright, what about shallow? Empty, hollow, trivial. Inside a shallow valley. Trees in the valley can reach heights of 30 to 40 feet with some larger. The city has an endless supply of fresh water via the river Era. No. The city is situated near the fork of the river Era. Which gives the denizens, that's not how you spell denizens, access to fresh water. Do many species? Maybe do species care about? No, we're talking about geography only, not food or anything like that. City. Oh God, the city city is situated near the fork of the river Era, which gives the denizens access to fresh water. You'd like to live in Eurostir? That's the goal, right? That's the goal. Make someone interested in actually staying here. What more about the geography? I want to go into like the daytime nighttime cycle of Eurostir, but I want to finish up geography first, like main geography. Talk about the view. You can also talk about the view, natural beauty. dominating the So we said that Nadir's Keep was built around a larger tree. So it has to be dominating. Dominating the dominating the landscape. Is Nadir's Keep, which is do you want the keep or the actual tree? Is a 100-foot tall great oak from which Nadir's Keep can be seen spiraling around. I can have a separate article for Nadir's Keep going into the architecture of it and the look of it, so it doesn't need to be, doesn't need to be anything more than this. Okay. So the forest canopy, while dense, is not what is a different word for blocking? Like you block out the sun? Opaque. While dense is not impenetrable. While the forest canopy, while dense, is not impenetrable. In terms of, I'm trying to say like something about the light, you know? The forest canopy, while dense. I can't think of any words. Obfuscated. It's a good word. Sunlight interception. Yeah, it's tough. How do I... Still shines bright in the sun's rays. Maybe. Before, I can't start. Eurosteer is fully illuminated during the day. And at night, I want to work in bioluminescent stuff. Like like fairies and things that float that are lights and fungi that's glowing, and because you've got this bright forest, this vivid green forest that is just bombarded with light. At night, some of that light is going to radiate, you know. At night, the city, what's a different word for illuminated? The city is lit up. By I was like, I really hope I spell this right. Bioluminescent fauna. Is like a is mushroom considered a fauna? I don't know. Whatever. At night, the city is lit up by bioluminescent fauna. Creating a blue purple hue what do we call them? Irians? The Irish. What? Urish. Urish have, what's the word? Curated the various I don't want to use bioluminescent twice, but I don't have another word for it. I don't know if there is another word for it. No. I've curated the various nighttime wildlife, nighttime fauna, flora, to light up pathways and buildings. No. I don't want them to be the curators of the forest. I want them to keep the forest in mind every step of the way. So, Irish have curated their buildings to house these creatures and flora. Nah, I don't like that. Curated their buildings The Arayish have situated their buildings and pathways so that they will be illuminated. I used it twice. Who cares? I'll figure something out. Be illuminated at night. There will be. I didn't use. Oh, I did. By the various flora and fauna of the forest. Because obviously we don't want them to use lanterns. Because that's bad. They're in a big forest. I guess it's good enough. The Arayish have situated their buildings and pathways so that they will be illuminated at night by the various flora and fauna of the forest. Sure, good enough. So that covers daytime, nighttime, water, good views, the geography. I think that hits all of it. Natural resources. Fallen trees are cleansed of all evil spirits before being recycled. I feel like this place doesn't have evil spirits, so that it doesn't really make much sense. Fallen trees are blessed by priests, Eurystere, before being recycled into buildings. Oh god. Eurotire? Oh god. Getting tired. Wood from the forest, grain from the fields, sheep in the rolling hills, and metals and stone from the bowels of the earth. Natural resources define all the assets that can be found by prospectors, or can be exploited by the population living in or nearby this location. Fallen trees are blessed by spirits before being recycled into buildings for Eurystere. Fresh water is harvested from the river Era. Vegetables grown in small farms, and fruits let's see. Small farms on the river. Provide vegetables. Fruits that fall from their trees. It's a natural resource. Like that. Your trees are gathered. As a stable food source. I don't know if I need that part of the sentence, but whatever. Hey, Bazaar. You're going to y'all about comic books next Wednesday? Yeah, next Wednesday is the next comic book to talk. Yeah. Next Wednesday is the next comic book talk. We've got a couple big ones to talk about, like Doomsday Clock, Event Leviathan, the new Batman. How you been, man? Yeah, it's next Wednesday. Glad you can make it by. Do 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 do. Okay. I'll say the colonies of bees in and around Eurystere provide a healthy, sweet food source. You're just chilling, doing the same old, same old. Did start playing DBD for a bit since you saw. Dude, you gotta play with us. We're not gonna be playing any tonight because it's almost time for us to end, but we still got like 20 minutes. It's so much fun, dude. And we're always needing more people. Do you like playing Killer or Survivor? Okay. I think that's good for natural resources. This article's definitely shaping up to be a informative article. Queen Nadir. Owning organizations, cities, guilds, kingdoms, religious organizations can own territories, buildings, or whole cities. Define here which of your whole organization claims ownership of this location. Nothing. Prairie Woods. Okay, history is the only thing left. I have not been doing any of the histories because I still haven't made a timeline. We can start it. Fuck, let's do it. No time like the present. Let's actually look at our article so far. It's a lot of info. Holy shit. You want to get better before I play with anyone? I never kill, just try to stay alive. Honestly, even if you don't use like voice chat or anything like that, if you queue up with people, you'll do 100 times better. Because most of the time, if you're queuing up with someone as a group of survivors, they'll know what they're doing. You get paired with randoms and they just like fucking run around and get themselves killed or DC, you know. Okay. So we've got that. Let's go and create a fucking timeline. How to do. Here we go. Timeline title. So I don't have an actual name for the world. I've kind of dubbed this portion Lothland. I don't even know if like this whole area, this continent, is Lothland. I don't even know. Like this is definitely not the whole world, but it is maybe the whole explored world so far. You know, I don't know. I don't know. The timeline of Lothland. Sure. This is a not real word. Are you kidding me? Historical events. Calendar. Oh, I do have a calendar. Oh my god. Oh god, no. Oh, what did I just do? Calendar, calendar, calendar. Okay, it looks like I did use a similar pattern to D&D. Two moons? I guess I have two moons. I determined at the beginning that I would have two moons, apparently. Interesting. Okay, well, we have a calendar title. Maybe I kind of want there to be ages. I like the ages from Lord of the Rings, like the third age of man, you know. I like big, big events causing changes in the calendar. Two moons in this world, two moons. Definitely want ages. Calendar title. What? What is a calendar title? Doo 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 doo. Is that just... Is that like... You know what you say, like BCE or whatever. I wish I knew what that meant. Write a simple comma separating list of all your month names, for example, whatever. When you are entering a number like 2 for the month of the timeline, this calendar is attached to, the number will be replaced with the name of your month. Interesting. Calendar description. Man, I don't fucking know. I'm so bad at this. I've only got a generator of years and months. I can't even make a calendar title. Whatever. Timeline description, normal, parallel. Major master, where's that? Historical event. Create a new historical event. Sure. So let's say on my calendar I have here that we started the current year is what, 862? 826. 26. Do we want eras or do we want what's it called? Ages? I don't want to create a calendar in Excel. FantasyCalendar.com. Doesn't generate anything. I lack creativity. Well, I guess. Wait. The calendar would be called maybe something related to the age or era or the capital city. Could be the Amber Fallon calendar. Like the Gregorian calendar, you know? Yeah, I could just stick with the regular Gregorian calendar. Okay, well, what if the Amber Fane calendar? What if we do that? Go back. Can I edit this? Okay, good. Okay, historical event. Whatever. Historical event title. Do I want to go back to the beginning? I definitely want eras. I think I want eras more than ages, because if I just assign a number, like, oh, this is the 4th age, that means that there's only 3 previous, and I need to fit all of the history into those. I don't like feeling that limited, you know? I like having more freedom than that. Introductory to the entry. So we can maybe do the burning of the prairie woods. An introduction to the entry. a large portion of the greater prairie woods was torched was set aflame and destroyed. Sure. Oh. YouTube video's almost over again. And destroyed, leading to the extinctions of many native species and alliance of the prairie elves and bear folk. Sure. Full content. Related articles. Related location. Prairie Woods. The Bear King maybe would be a related one. Starting date. Oh god. I guess this event would have. So, Queen Nadir has been ruling over this Eristir for centuries. Is the plot. So we can say that she's probably, 600, 700, 800 years old. Let's say this started in 201. Month? I don't have month names. Day, I don't care. Ending date. How long did this burn? I can say 3 years or so. Event type. Cultural event. Disaster destruction. Let's see. Disaster destruction. Important national. Minor regional. Alternative display name. Please note, do not add a display date if you want the chronological dates to show in your entry. This is to be used only in the case that you want to replace the chronological dates of this entry. I don't know. Create. View. Wow. Do I have era names? Because I do over here. Oh, hey, it shows me live there. Interesting. Oh, fuck. Where do I have... The Era of Fee. Introduction. No. Interesting. I don't know how it determined. It's so scary. I don't know how it determined that I wanted the timeline to be named. That's so bizarre. I like legit have no idea. I might just be going crazy. Well, I have no idea, but who cares? Well, we can flesh out this burning of the prairie wood after we get a little bit more in depth with the Bear King. And we can take care of that maybe Friday or something. That's going to do it for me tonight, guys. I appreciate all of the help and support. This has been an interesting ride. We've created a lot in a short amount of time, and there's even more. I want to thank everyone for stopping by, helping me make this stuff. Thanks for all the follows and the hosts. Appreciate you. Think of a better name for Bear King. Yeah, well, he's going to be the Bear King, also known as his real name, or, one who wanders, something like that. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll figure that out eventually. I'll try and think of something too. I might work on this stuff a little bit off stream tonight. I really want to figure out how the fuck it knew what I wanted the years to be called. That's so bizarre. Okay, anyway. Tomorrow I'll be live, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to try and maybe finish up Layers of Fear 2. Not sure exactly how long it is, but at least we'll play the first half of the stream with that. And I do want to get back to some Dead by Daylight, especially with the news of Ghostface. I want to start saving up some blood for him, so... See you, Bizarre. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night. Bye.